official Universal Orlando podcast is a member of the Mice Chat Podcast Network. MicePod.com. Now, discover the universe, one theme park at a time.
Greetings, Universal fans! This episode was made possible by Fairy Godmother Travel and the Producers Club. So let's join the gang as we discover more about the Universal Orlando Resort, as well as Universal Studios Hollywood, Japan, and Singapore.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 154 of the internet's longest-running Universal Theme Parks podcast. I am your host, Lee, and joining me for this one is Tracy.
Hello.
And Hunter.
Best Universal Orlando podcast.
And of course, last but most definitely not least, Mr. Darren Schmidt.
What's up, Internet?
I am very nervous at this point in time because in just a mere few minutes we will be talking to Gary Goddard. Now, for those of you who don't know who he is the CEO of the Goddard Group, who were basically behind a lot of the work that went into Islands of Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as Jurassic World came out recently, they've been posting a lot of the original concept artwork and stuff for the Jurassic Park River Adventure. So we reached out to Gary and invited him on the show to talk about those original concepts and how it started out and how it became what it is today. So, is everyone ready? Shall we talk to Gary?
Yes, please.
Okie doke.
Yes.
Gary, thanks a lot for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it. For anyone who doesn't know who you are, let us know about your background in the theme park industry and how you sort of came to work at Islands of Adventure.
It's a long, integrated story, but I graduated from CalArts and wound up directing the Hoop-Dee-Doo show for Walt Disney World in Florida, which was only supposed to run that summer, but it's still running 3 shows a night, 7 days a week. It's been running for a long, long time. Very popular dinner theater experience there. And that led to me working at Imagineering. I was the youngest show designer brought into in Imagineering, so back to the West Coast, which is where I was from, to Glendale, and worked there on the early stages of the conceptual development of Epcot and the World Showcase and what was to become Tokyo Disneyland and new additions to Disney World and a bunch of other things. And I was lucky because I was very young and I was able to work directly with Mark Davis and John Hench and Herb Ryman, Colin Campbell, Claude Coates, Exitensio, all the Disney legends.
Yeah.
It was a pretty amazing time, actually. And then I struck out on my own and started my own company and very quickly got engaged by Universal to create a show for them to replace a kind of not very good production of Dracula that they had built a theater for. And that became the Conan show. I wrote and directed and designed that whole project with them. And went on to do Kong on the Loose, which is the big King Kong attraction, the pre-Peter Jackson one, the one that was up until about 3 or 4 years ago when it burned down by accident. That was the one with the real gigantic King Kong that shook the tram, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that led to a lot of things with Universal over the years, which then led to Universal Studios Florida, doing a number of the attractions there, and then ultimately to Islands of Adventure. And with Conan, we kind of started on the path of how do we differentiate ourselves from Disney. I was working with Jay Stein, who was the chairman then, and of course Universal Studios, which was much smaller then. But we determined with that show by using real fire and real water and real smoke and real lasers and real things that we could push the envelope more and put things basically in the face of people more than Disney. Disney was because it has to be good for everyone from 4 years old to 70 years old, is a bit milder in their approach. So we decided to start really immersing people in things and not just having them watch. So Conan was the start. The King Kong attraction was next. And you can kind of see the evolution of things up through when I did Terminator 2 3D and The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man ride and Jurassic Park. And all of these attractions really were kind of culminations of how do we keep putting people in the middle of things instead of just watching it? How do we put them in the center of the action and really make them feel that they're in it? So that's the long and short of it. Along the way, I directed the movie Masters of the Universe, and I wrote Tarzan the Ape Man for Bo Derek, and I produced some shows on Broadway, including the revival of Hair in 2008, I think, or 2009. And and then started creating attractions around the world, like Sanrio Puroland, that's the Hello Kitty people in Tokyo, and the Enchanted Kingdom theme park in the Philippines, and the Forum Shops Retail Center in Las Vegas. And I mean, we could go on and on all day, but a lot of things over the years. And I think it's because I've kept my hand in film and TV and live stage and stuff that kind of informs the work that we do when we do these themed attractions.
Which, I mean, some of the concepts, if you go on the Goddard Group Facebook page, some of the concepts of the stuff on there is just out of this world. It's amazing. But, I mean, one of the main reasons we wanted to get you on the show, Gary, is I know when Jurassic World came out recently, there was a lot of focus on your Facebook page of the original concepts for the Jurassic Park River Adventure. Some stuff that didn't necessarily make it in there that is such a shame.
Yeah, there's some things in there that were really cool that I wish we could have done. It was some really neat, again, immersive kind of things.
So take us back to, because I know that conceptually it started way, even reading back through some of the stuff, even before the movie came out. Yes,
we were brought in to begin to create a concept when Steven was actually making the film. And I had already read the book, because I read anyway, I read a lot of books, so I'd already read the book, so I already kind of knew what that was. And then, so we had some initial discussions, and then they said, okay, we want you to do it. You got to sign a non-disclosure, and we want you to read the screenplay. But you can only read it at Amblin. You have to go to Amblin. You have to read it there on the site. You can't leave with the script. It was very, very top secret. So I and a couple of my key guys went over to Amblin. We read the script there, and when we got done reading it, Universal had a brief meeting. They were like, "So we're going to do the Jeep ride." And I go, "Okay." At first, I said, "Okay," and we talked, got the basic outline. We went back to my company because I never actually worked directly for Universal. I always had my own company. Back then, it was Landmark Entertainment Group, and so I went back. And I thought about it for about 24 hours, and I really thought, the Jeep ride's not going to work because it'll have to be a roller coaster to get any speed. And if it's a roller coaster, it's not really going to feel like you're really on a Jeep ride. And knowing how Steven Spielberg is going to shoot that scene that we just read, we will never be able to duplicate that. And that kind of goes with my whole strategy anyway. I always believe when you're doing a film adaptation of theme park, you shouldn't try and recreate the movie. You shouldn't try and recreate a scene. You should tell a parallel story or something that happened off camera that didn't happen. Find a way in that reveals something new, but keeps the spirit, heart, soul, and the basic mythology of the movie experience intact. That way, you're not trying to recreate a film experience, which is virtually impossible to do in a roller coaster or in some other form of dark ride. So I remembered in the book the chapter where the kids go through the boat ride that hadn't opened yet. And I went back to Universal, look, I've got a different idea. And the other thing that's important is originally, believe it or not, we were designing both. And Terminator 2 3D was to be the California attraction here in Hollywood, and Jurassic Park was going to be the Florida attraction. So I said, look, in Florida, a boat ride. You have a boat ride, and you'll have a splashdown. It'll be cooling. It'll be great. And they're like, no, because back then Jay still didn't really want to consider his studio tours theme parks. He wanted to really consider he really wanted to feel they were, working movie backlots. And I was like, Jay, the Florida project is not a working backlot.
Yeah.
It is a theme park. And having a boat ride there, I think, would be great. When it's so hot, people get on the boat ride. It makes a lot of sense. So went back and forth for a few days. And then it was really, look, we don't think Steven's going to go for this. I said, I think Steven will go for it because it's from the book. And he's a purist. And I think that's a good thing. We're not making this up. It's from the book. We're going to show you something that, you're not seeing in the movie, but it's from the book. And so they said, okay, well, you got to tell Steven, So I did. And as I predicted, Steven loved the idea, thought it was a great idea. And so with his blessing, we were able to go ahead with the idea of a boat ride instead of a Jeep ride. So there was all that happened to get that. And then we started working on the ride, and we started with the chapter in the book. So, I think it mentioned an aviary before they got onto the boat ride or something. Anyway, when we did the boat ride, there was an aviary with pterodactyls, and there was a great set of sequences that led to the big finale, And the big thing really was that we staged a way for you to believe, or just be on the edge of belief, that you might be being, evacuated from the ride. Basically, after you get bumped on the wrong course by the dinosaur that comes out of the water and knocks you into the wrong areas, you are very quickly in the middle of a red light kind of situation, warning lights going off, and something's gone wrong, and mist and smoke and things not good. And you're as you go into that big chamber, you're obviously in the wrong place. So what would happen is they would try and get you out of there. It's an error. So you go up into a dry dock. Basically, you go up a short ramp and you come into a dry dock which looks like an unload station. There is a live actor there who is a host telling you, okay, be calm. There's been a problem. The things are, we have to get you out of here. So we're going to evacuate you from the ride. And just stand by until the bar lifts, and then we will. And then, as he's in the middle of that spiel, a raptor comes at him, but he's protected by a chain fence, so that the thing leaps and snaps at him, hitting the fence hard, and the fence bending towards him. It scares him, and he basically gets the hell out of there. We're stuck. The bar hasn't lifted. We don't know what's going to happen. Suddenly, the thing unlatches, and we go back the way we came. But now we're going backwards to the ride on an alternate track. And we go by a lot of bloody carnage of like a triceratops that's been bitten into. There's blood in the water. It's pretty cool.
Awesome.
And anyway, eventually, we get deeper and deeper in. It's like going up the dark river in Apocalypse. It's getting worse and worse. And then it pretty much, as you know it, after that point, after the T-Rex sees us above and the things and tries to get at us, breaking pipes and shooting steam at us, and then we think we've missed him, and then he's at the very end behind the waterfall. So, and prior to all that, we went through the aviary that had the pterodactyls. There was a great sequence there where the pterodactyl came at us just as we were leaving the thing. So, but I think the big miss was that whole sequence of misdirection, of making you believe. We wanted people to believe just for a second, like, are we really being evacuated?
Yeah.
So that was I wish that would have remained. That was a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. It's a shame because it's similar to the Mummy ride that's in Orlando now. That's kind of got that fake bit in the middle of it, so it kind of existed
where
a
do
little bit.
Where do they get those ideas? Oh, wait.
So when because you said it was originally going into the studios then over, I think if I remember rightly reading, it was going to be Men in Black. What changed that in the end to then end up in Islands of Adventure?
Well, first of all, it was going to go in Universal Studios Florida, and T2 was going to open here in California. And somewhere along the way, powers that be decided they were going to flip it, and T2 would go to Florida and open there, and Jurassic would open here. So that's what happened there. It got flipped from Florida Universal Studios Park to California, and Terminator 2 3D was determined to open in Florida, and it was the exact opposite when we had started. So that's really what happened there. And then by the time they got around to thinking about bringing Jurassic Park to Florida, Islands of Adventure was well underway, and that went through many permutations. Originally, it was going to be kind of a cartoon world, and all of the different lands were going to be based on cartoon characters from comic books, from animation, from video game. It didn't matter, but it was all cartoon. And then that changed and kind of became more of a series of adventures. And at that point, it was felt that Jurassic Park would be a good land to have there rather than putting it into Universal Studios. I mean, it really belongs in Universal Studios if you think about it, into that park. But it formed a good anchor for Islands of Adventure. I think that's why they went for it.
We've been sort of looking through a lot of the concept art that you've posted on Facebook and stuff, and actually Hunter posted a behind-the-scenes video on our Facebook page recently that unfortunately I haven't had a chance to watch. We were a little confused of when the actual concept began for it. Was it set for Hollywood first, or when you
Yes, it was originally set for Hollywood, and T2 was set for Florida. And that got reversed. In fact, that's part of the problem is all of our sight lines. When you see pictures of me and Steven Spielberg and Sid Sheinberg at the model, that was the model that was going into Florida. And every sight line had been considered quite extensively, and that model was used for that purpose. You walk through the model with your head where the boat would be, and your eyes seeing exactly what you'd see in the boat, everything at eye level for you to walk through the model. And when they flipped them, they took over Jurassic, and I wasn't really involved in the adaptation. And that thing, they didn't do the same homework. They just kind of an architect, just kind of readjusted the plan to fit on that site in California. That's why it's so tragic, that had someone with the director's eye been involved, a simple fix, like for instance, when you go up the lift at the very beginning and you come around the bend and you hear the doors open to reveal, this is as we scripted it, and it reveals the Ultrasaurus there. And, the way they designed it, it is right on line. The first thing you actually see is a big parking lot up there. And without costing any more money, had they just... If you kept everything the same and just bent that track out a little bit more to the left, right, a little bit, another 15 degrees, 20 degrees to the left, you would not have been looking at the parking lot. You would have been looking at the dinosaur instead. So there's frustration on my part that just the basic sightline kind of things that would normally go into a ride like that just weren't addressed properly. It wouldn't have cost them any more to bring that ride down, 15 degrees more to the left, so that you would not be looking right at the parking lot as the doors open.
Right.
So, but that was because they just decided on a corporate level, we're flipping this. We're going to move Jurassic Park to California and T2 to Florida, and whoever was in charge of doing the adaptation of the ride just wasn't really tuned into sight lines the way they probably should have been.
Right.
Mostly they tried to fix that with like a little bit of like an arch with some flowers and foliage on there, but I think that kind of blocks the Jurassic Park sign at the top of the gate when you're going through as well. So yeah, they definitely should have had you there for that.
I wish. Well, sometimes.
Yep.
So, real quick question for you, Mr. Gary. So the ride, if I recall correctly, opened up in 1996. Is that right?
Yes, I believe so. We opened Jurassic Park and Terminator 2 and Caesar's Magical Empire, I think. That all three of those in that year, I think. And Star Trek in early 1997, I think. So they were all together.
Wow.
Okay. Just kind of rolling off that, the sequel to Jurassic Park Lost World came out in 1997. How that ties together, did you have any access to the sequel's materials? Because one thing that always stuck out to me is, even though the Stegosaurus is not a major dinosaur in the first film, it is in the second one. So I was just wondering how that came to be in that attraction.
Maybe they were inspired by the ride.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
Because no, we didn't have any. I don't think anyone was even thinking of the sequel at that point. Everyone was waiting to see how the first one would do. I mean, the ride was being designed before the movie ever came out.
Which is awesome.
It is. It's a very strange. It must have been a very strange place to find yourself in, creating a ride for a film that people hadn't actually seen yet.
Yeah, well, it was, but we ran things by Steven whenever he could get a break to look at things, and he was the overall architect of the whole Jurassic movie. So, I think that helped keep us on the right beam. And then we were able to get them to. We made the pre-show almost a year or two ahead of the ride being done, because one of the sets from Jurassic Park was still standing. It was the Welcome Center that was on the soundstage. It hadn't been torn down, and the movie had been done shooting for maybe 6 months or 7. But they don't always tear things down until they have a need for the stage again. So I saw that, and I went to Jay. I said, Jay, why don't we shoot the pre-show right now? We can get all that production value. We can shoot it right there on the set. It's on a Universal soundstage, And the laboratory set was still up. So if you see the pre-show for the movie, the original one, the Q video, it had scenes in the laboratory that I directed and shot, and we cast the actors, and we got Richard Attenborough who I had the same agent at Creative Artists Agency. Martin Baum was my agent and was also his agent, Sir Richard Attenborough. So I said, Marty, you think Richard would consider doing this? And, it'll just be like a one-day shoot, and we could say, welcome to Jurassic Park. And he talked to Richard, and Richard said he'd do it. He'd give his money to, charity, but he would love to do it. So we got this all put together, and Jay got it budgeted, and so we shot the pre-show on the actual set, Jurassic World set, with Richard Attenborough. And then the interesting thing is, I'm setting the shot up. It's a big crane shot. We're setting up the shot where he's way up on the steps, and he's going to do the part where he's saying the last part. We've put this whole thing together again here. Universal Studios has been kind enough, and I don't know if you remember that cue, but he's basically saying, here at Universal, there's so many safeguards. The kind of thing that happened in Costa Rica, that little incident in Costa Rica, it could never happen here. So it's Universal, and so we made it very real time. But that basically. InGen has set up a new demonstration of why the system is safe and everything right here under the auspices of Universal Studios, right here on the slot. And so we're shooting one of the big shots where we're going to crane out where he goes, blah 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 blah. Welcome to Jurassic Park, and the camera pulls out on a crane for a high crane shot. And so as I'm working on that, setting the scene up and getting the camera to, and I'm looking at the monitors down below. When you're directing like that and you're looking at a monitor, you can always sense when someone's looking over your shoulder. So I'm setting that up, and I'm, on a microphone saying, Richard, could you move more to your left? And okay, camera there, yeah, okay. And okay, let's rehearse, and, rehearse the shot. And I feel someone watching over my shoulder, and I look, and it's Steven Spielberg. So I guess Richard had told him that he was shooting that. I guess he came down just to see it and, hang out. So, I said, action, and we shot it, and I turn, I see it's him, I go, oh, hi, Steven. He goes, hey. I said, so, anything that you want me to do differently? He goes, no, you're doing great. And so then I suggested he do a cameo. When, Richard's up there, you want to do a little walk behind, and he was up for it. So I'm not even sure Universal realizes they have this footage anymore because they've pulled this out of the queues, but in that last shot where Richard Attenborough is saying, welcome to Jurassic Park, as the camera starts to move, a guy in a baseball cap walks right behind Richard, and Richard kind of does a double take. And that's Steven Spielberg. It's him.
Wow.
Awesome. I think that footage I've seen somewhere, and I think it's on like the promotional material now with him saying, welcome to Jurassic Park. I think that's the only time I've seen it.
Is Steven walking behind him?
That I have never noticed, actually.
Well, if it is, I've been trying to find that piece of film. So if it is, and you find it, send it to me, will you?
Definitely.
Yeah, that'd be great. So yeah, I shot those. I did that whole pre-show bit and shot the stuff in the lab and shot the stuff with Richard and with the little cameo with Steven. It was pretty cool. That was a good day.
I'm sure,
Sam
yes.
Raimi, Sam Raimi dropped by. You know Sam Raimi, right?
Yes, I'm a big
director.
Sam Raimi fan.
So, yeah, Raimi heard we were shooting on the Jurassic thing, so he came in and he stuck his head. It was a good day. Sam Raimi dropped by. Steven dropped by. It was pretty cool.
Just a little bit.
My jaw's on the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 8th wonder of the world is returning to Universal Orlando Resort. So let our friends at Fairy Godmother Travel take care of the resort reservation. They are a Universal Parks and Resorts specialist, as well as being an authorised Disney vacation planner, and their service is free to you. From the awesome Cabana Bay Hotel to those other hotels run by a mouse, Fairy Godmother Travel can book all your Orlando vacation needs, so you don't need to miss the chance to see the amazing King Kong in the flesh. And please make sure to let them know that you heard about Fairy Godmother Travel because of UUOP. Because every UUOP referral helps us to continue to bring you the greatest Universal coverage. Contact them today by phone at 832-284-4002 or toll free at 888-939-642539 or go to fairygodmothertravel.com.
Let Fairy Godmother Travel make your next vacation magical.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.
Did you get to work on any other parts of the Jurassic Park island at Islands of Adventure then, Gary, or was it just the attraction?
Just the ride. Actually, what happened was our original name for it was the Jurassic Park River Adventure, and that's how we designed it. They changed the name for LA. Universal changed the name to Jurassic Park, The Experience. But when they went back to put it in the Lost World, I guess they felt that the original name that we suggested, Jurassic Park River Adventure, was a better name. So that actually came from our original concept. And but other than that, no. I think Phil Hedema was responsible for that land.
Okay.
I was more working on later Islands Adventure. Let's see, I was working on Toon. It was Toon Lagoon at the time. Toon Lagoon and the Superhero Island, which I did a whole concept, by the way, first with the DC character, with Superman, Batman, Justice League of America, all that kind of stuff. That's when they thought they were going to do a deal with Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't happen, so we flipped to Marvel. So then we started working on that. And the remnants of I was never happy with the way the superhero land turned out, because I'm a comic book, fan. I grew up reading comics and stuff, and I don't really like the super graphic POW stuff from the Batman television show era for a theme park. I would have made it a little more, I think, realistic. But the Fearfall, Dr. Doom's Fearfall, that was me. The Hulk coaster was not me, but the coaster was going to be the Cosmic coaster. It was going to be the Silver Surfer, all in chrome. If you can imagine, chrome tracks, chrome vehicles, everything chrome. And it was going to be a hanging coaster. That's how it became a hanging coaster, because it was going to move like the Silver Surfer kind of, through these things. And then it was going to have a finale in an IMAX dome. You'd go shooting into this dome, and Galactus would be there trying to do us in, and the Silver Surfer in that one moment would appear on screen and shield us from Galactus in time for us to explode out of there and get back to Earth. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think you need to ring Universal and get that back in there.
Yes.
There's some very interesting...
The Spider-Man ride, of course, that was my baby. So.
Which is, and pardon the pun, it is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's still a lot
of... It was a large... it was extension. We had been working on T2 3D, and then it was like Jay Stein said, well, Spider-Man's going to have a dark ride, and, you got to come up with what that's going to be. And so... knowing theme park attractions, if you start going through the basic mediums that were available at the time, animatronics, that will look stupid. Superheroes with animatronics, they can't really move, they can't really do much. So then what? Well, you could do 2D you could do 2D film, kind of like if you had Wings at Disney and other things like that, with projections and windows and stuff like that. And then I just thought, because I'd been working on T2 3D for probably a year at that point, and I was like, well, what if we do 3D in a ride? Let's do 3D in a ride. And we started messing around with ideas and came up with some really good stuff, and went to Jay and said, look, the breakthrough idea here is to do a 3D ride, which everybody fought. All of the Universal executives there, except for Jay, didn't think it could be done. But they didn't think Terminator 2 3D could be done either. So there was a lot of fighting to make that project happen. And if Jay Stein had not been running things, it would have been shot down by all of his key lieutenants. And later, when Jay retired and Ron Benson took over, there was a narrow window there where they were considering not doing Spider-Man, doing something different instead. And Ron championed at that point. So this was clearly a case where people at the top believed in it and overrode their lieutenants. Otherwise, it would have never happened. And everything was a battle on that, I can tell you, on both of those, on T2 and on Spider-Man. But I guess when you're breaking new ground, it just goes with the territory.
Yeah.
That's like the Forum Shops at Caesars. It's one of the most successful shopping malls in the country and in the world, based on per capita sales, per square foot sales. And all of the mall experts at the time, when we were designing that, told the chairman of Caesars that it would fail. It could not work. It was not really a true retail mall. And so they're wrong. It just goes to prove you, when you do something new, it's very hard, because even the experts will say that's never going to work.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sorry, a little sidetrack there.
That's all right.
Oh, no, that's good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
other
that.
stuff. We've got a few listener questions about the Jurassic Park ride, if you don't mind answering them. Gary, that's okay?
Sure, no problem. If I know them. If it's trivia, I'm not very good with trivia, but go ahead.
Right. Chris Rook and Matt Tucker both want to know, Are there any plans to create a Jurassic World ride because of its success, or could it be possible that the current river adventure will be rebranded or have any sections rethemed to reflect Jurassic World?
I have heard a few rumors that they are going to upgrade that area, but I can't confirm whether those rumors are true. Not because I'm hiding for it, I just don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Universal has a lot on their plate now with Harry Potter and with they've got a bunch of stuff. But I have heard that they are looking at doing an upgrade. Yes.
That would be good.
Because I know it's just, I know recently they created an offshoot of Universal Creative that their sole purpose is to upgrade the existing attractions in the park to reflect the standard of the new stuff they've put in. And I know Jurassic Park River Adventures just had a big overhaul, and apparently it's looking stunning again.
Yes. Yeah, so I think that is true. And I think the staggering success of the movie probably would lead them to want to do that, because obviously there now will be another one and maybe another two, because the movie's so successful.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so. So I have the next question. It's from Mr. David Fuller. He just wants to know, why was the decision made to lose the falling Jeep in the transition from the Hollywood version to Orlando? Such a cool effect from the movie that's missing in the Orlando attraction.
Well, I wasn't involved in the Orlando attractions, so I can't speak to that, although maybe I'm imagining this, but I thought when I went to Orlando, the Jeep was there and it did come down. Was it just teetering and not coming down?
They kind of replaced it with the raptor cage. They have like a caged raptors. That kind of drop down as you go through underneath it.
Well, I don't know the reason. I wasn't there, but I can conjecture. You know, the falling Jeep. I was very adamant in the one in California that thing really. I wanted it to be a gravity drop. I wanted it to be teetering and then really just release it and it drops the way it normally would. No brake, no nothing, and it would be metal against metal. It would hit the water. It would cause a splash. People would get wet. And so they didn't go quite that direction, but they tried to get as close as they could. And I think, I understand it needed, regular maintenance, and maybe they just determined that was, too expensive to, because I agree. When that thing works, it works great. People love it.
Yeah, I would think we haven't been out to Hollywood, but seeing YouTube videos, it does look a better effect than the one in Orlando. But yeah, thinking about it, potentially it would take a lot more upkeep than just having a raptor cage that dropped.
Exactly.
It's the problem with theme park attractions sometimes is the budget, or not even sometimes, the budget does come into it and things get lost because of that, and it's a shame.
That's the operating budget. Yeah, if it's going to cost too much to operate, they're tough on the overall capital budget. That's the budget to build it, but then they have to consider, and it's a legitimate consideration. What is the operating budget going to be? And if there was a need for a lot of maintenance on that kind of effect, then that might have been the issue. But maybe they could have having learned from California, maybe they could have engineered a new kind of drop with the Jeep that would be more effective and require less maintenance.
Yeah.
The idea was always I'm always trying to do things people don't expect. So the whole idea was, you look at that Jeep teetering, well, you see that on theme park rides all the time, that kind of thing, a teetering rock, and it's not going to fall. So then we make it fall, and then it splashes water all over you on top of that. That's good because people don't expect it.
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
We need to start a petition to get that installed in Orlando.
We do.
Yeah, definitely.
They've got the money for it now, let's be honest.
Yeah. The next one comes from Gregory Ryan, and he says, what were the challenges of building a ride with animatronics that not only operate outside, but also underwater?
Well, very challenging. Now, to be honest, by that point, I wasn't really involved. They hired away two or three of my guys that had worked on the project and had them work on it. I was never happy with the choice of the animatronic company. They went with a brand new group, Sarcos Technology, who were responsible for, or at least I guess a couple of them were involved in The Wicked Witch, which was incredible and a great movie ride at Disney.
Yeah.
But Disney spent a couple $1 million on that figure, and Universal's not going to spend millions of dollars on an AA figure. Anyway, they went to a new group that was an offshoot of those guys, I believe, and they promised them the moon, and they said these, you have some of the Disney executives saying before the project opened, you will believe these dinosaurs are real, they're going to move. And one of my last things before I was not on the project anymore, they basically took it over in-house, and they told me what they were planning. I said, guys, I've worked with animatronics a lot, and the problem is they can show you a lot of things mechanically. You have to tell them, put a skin on it. Let's see how it works when you put the skin on it, and let's see how the skin works when you attach it to the thing. Do they have any experience with that? No, they don't, but, we'll get such and such company. I said, well, just so you know, when things go wrong, the skin company, when the skins start to tear and fall apart under the UV sun rays and stuff, they're going to blame these guys, and these guys are going to say that the animatronics aren't working because of their skins. That's what you're setting yourself up for. That's what happened. I predicted it,
Wow.
And in my original design, I can try and dig up that sketch, we proposed to have a gigantic sunroof. Since this whole thing is kind of, the whole conceit of this was that InGen had agreed to put a demonstration unit on the Universal Studio lot to show people that their technology was safe and to show dinosaurs in a safe, controlled environment with experienced theme park operators. So I said, if we put this big sunroof over the top of everything, it will at least during the daytime give us shade, and we can light the characters more dramatically. Because one thing about animatronic dinosaurs, you should light them theatrically.
Yeah.
If you can, not have them out in bright sunlight. Plus, I said the sunlight, the direct UV rays, the direct sunlight is going to just kick the crap out of your skins. You're going to have to repaint them, and you're going to have to reskin them, and But I lost that argument because it was a lot of money to put that thing up there. But I think at the end of the day, it would have improved the experience immensely, and it would have paid for itself because I think it would have prolonged the life of the skins and let us present the dinosaurs in a more theatrical kind of way, rather than bright, sunlight on everything. So I guess the short answer is that they had a lot of problems with the animatronics the first couple of years. I think you might remember that you'd go on and certain dinosaurs weren't working, some were turned off, some were half working. And this was because of the complications of outdoors, skins not connecting to the framework in a way that after a certain amount of movement, things start to tear, rip. The sun was also kind of brutal on the skins. Mm-hmm. And the underwater one had a lot of issues, though, Universal has had experience with underwater stuff because of Jaws and some of the other things.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But without going into great detail, yes, it was a very challenging assignment, and I think that a more experienced animatronics company, might have had better success than this high-tech NASA set of NASA scientists who promised the moon, but really, they just didn't really understand anything about entertainment business or about having to operate, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah. I think the thing is that the difference between having the animatronics out in Hollywood and Orlando as well would have been different for the fact that you've got the humidity to deal with out in Orlando that you haven't got in Hollywood.
That's correct. All these things are factors when you're planning any kind of outdoor anything, whether it's animatronics or show equipment, sets. As soon as you're outside in the weather and the elements, it's not just sun, it's rain, it's wind, it's everything.
Yeah. And Orlando's got it all.
In spades.
All the time.
Yeah.
I don't know how many others that you've experienced, but Sam Radden would like to know which Jurassic Park ride do you like the most? The Hollywood one, the Orlando one, the Japan one, or the Rapids in Singapore?
Well, I would say that I think I like the Orlando one the best at this point, only because I think they did a better job on the overall landscaping, on the overall environment. And, but I miss a few things from the California version too. So it's kind of hard to say. The Singapore one actually was when they were looking for a low-budget way to do Jurassic Park. I had suggested that was an approach I suggested. They didn't use me, but they did use the idea. And after telling me that they didn't think it would work, it turns out they went ahead and did it anyway. But they missed the most important part. So here was the concept for that one, because it was a very low-budget attraction. The idea was there weren't going to be very many dinosaurs, and as you probably have noticed, there aren't very many dinosaurs in that ride. So we were going to have it like it was an abandoned station, and there were like skeletal remains of a lot of dinosaurs, and you didn't really see too many until you get to one part. And when you get to the one part, they're a little scary because they're hungry and they're looking at you like you're dinner, and Well, we purposely have a few raptors positioned who make very simple animation movements, head nods and stuff like that. Again, remember, my whole life I like to fool you. I want to fool you. I want to draw you in like a magic trick and then flip it. So you're thinking, well, those animatronics aren't very good. And also it was a function of budget because I knew they wouldn't be very good.
Yeah.
So we use it. So now when you come around the corner, there's another group of them. There's like 3 of them, and they're making the same movements. But these guys are live actors in those outfits. If you happen to see the touring show Walking with Dinosaurs, did you happen to see the raptors they're pretty badass. They were really scary. So the idea was to have 3 of those guys making the same little head moves and, little arm moves. And then right as the boat gets close, they leap at your boat. They leap.
Wow.
Running right towards you. And then right when they do that, you go down the thing. So you leave them behind.
Oh,
Fantastic.
And I told the guys there, I said, this will be, oh, Gary, we could never afford that. I said, you do these haunted houses. You have live performers in haunted houses, Why couldn't you do this, If you can't have 3, have 2. But it's the gag. It's the setup and the gag. People will come out of there laughing and screaming.
Yeah.
They'll be so, So that what bothers me about that one in Singapore is they didn't go for the finale. If you're going to go low budget, okay. If you're going to not have too many dinosaurs, okay. But now let's figure out a payoff that really makes it play.
Yeah.
And I wish they had done that. But I probably shouldn't say this on this interview because I'm still going to do that someday. I'm going to do that at another attraction. I'm going to scare the crap out of people.
Awesome.
I need to know when and where because I'll be there. And I need to know which seat's the scariest so I can see how
you
youngest
imagine
in it.
that you've seen these dinosaurs and you're feeling very smug, like, oh my God, those dinosaurs. Then you see 3 more of them and you're thinking the same thing and they suddenly squeal and come running right at you.
That would be amazing.
That'd be so great because you're so used to now, having the animatronics and the 3D screens and everything. To have a live actor show up in a ride, an attraction, would be amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. And those costumes are so realistic. The ones in the Walking for Dinosaurs. They're amazing. And again, you'd only see them for 4 or 5 seconds, so you'd never see that there was a live actor in there. You just see these raptors coming at you, snapping at you, and screeching.
It kind of reminds me when they put a live actor in Disneyland's Haunted Mansion back in the 80s for a couple weeks. And I believe he was like in a night suit, and he would just pop out
that's
at
right.
people.
Yeah. And they still do that for Halloween, I think.
Wow.
That's awesome.
See, we always lament the amount of live actors and stuff in attractions now because it seems to be, like we've talked earlier, Gary, it just seems to be a cost-cutting measure now of not paying people's wages to have them in there. And it's such a shame because I love any, because it just changes an attraction to have.
It's to the detriment of it, isn't it?
To have an actual person in there always changes how that ride's going to be because how that person attacks that role. So you think like Jaws isn't there anymore. I think there's only really Poseidon's Fury now. You don't see much of it. Disney have took it out a lot of their attractions.
Yep.
Such a shame.
It is such a shame.
It is.
Yep.
Matt Hoosman, is that how you pronounce his name? Yep. He is asking, what do you envision as the rides of the future? Where are the development of rides going as total immersion, for example, virtual reality? That seems to be on the horizon for home use.
Yeah, I think the thing is for theme parks, what differentiates, we can never do a single one-on-one video game live in a park as good as you can get online because it's just you and the system and everything, right? So what we have to remember in theme parks, what makes theme parks work is it's shared experiences. It's you and your family, or you and your children, or you and your grandparents, or your girlfriend and boyfriend, whatever. It's a shared experience. Not too many people go to theme parks alone, So we have to look at ways to do things where people can have fun together in a shared experience. And we're working on different ideas, some high-tech and some low-tech. I'm actually getting back to some low-tech ideas. I'll give you one example for this Cirque du Soleil park that we're doing with Cirque du Soleil. We're going to have a boat ride. It'll only be at night, and you'll go into a mythical jungle, and the jungle will be people with creatures, but not animatronics. They're going to be like the Michael Curry creatures, like if you've seen Lion King or you've seen other kinds.
Yes.
these mythical creatures that are being puppeted at all different scales and sizes, small and large and everything. And you're going this mythical kind of journey that I think will be magical. And we're not using high-tech, we're using low-tech. But we're using low-tech in a very theatrical kind of way that will, I think, create a very magical kind of experience. And so that's an example of going the other way. And in the high-tech realm, we're working on I can't say too much about it, but we are working for a client that has the rights to the Marvel characters for a theme park. There were two people who had rights to Marvel theme parks, one in Abu Dhabi and one in Indonesia, prior to the Disney deal.
Okay.
So they still have the rights to do these, but Disney has approval over the
Right.
Disney Marvel has approval over everything, of course. So we've created a pretty cool set of attractions that are high tech, and there is one that does make use of an Oculus Rift kind of thing in a group situation. But I really can't say too much more yet. But it's based on Daredevil, so imagine you're going to see and hear the world as Daredevil does.
Oh, wow! I'm
it's
sold.
a very unique attraction that uses that kind of technology, but in a very different way, and it combines it with a real world environment you're in, but you're moving through the world and seeing it and hearing it through holophonic sound and through Oculus Rift type thing.
Wow.
The way Daredevil would. Very cool. Very cool. There's nothing like it in the world, I assure you.
It sounds it.
Just take my money now.
We've got a Thor track. We got some cool stuff in there, and those are a lot more high tech. A lot of 3D, 4D, and holophonic sound and things like that to really mess with your senses as you go through things.
Fabulous.
It sounds like the future at theme parks is very, very bright, which is brilliant for us people who are coming over.
Yes.
I think so. I mean, we're very fortunate in what we're doing right now. On one hand, the Cirque Park we're doing is going to be very high touch instead of high tech. Very immersive. Because you imagine a theme park that kind of brings our expertise to theme parks and the understanding of live entertainment and staging of Cirque and these kind of magical forests and magical lakes and that we're going to create where you actually walk through and discover things, or you float through, and there's nothing like it in the world right now on that side. And then in the Marvel Park, we're doing the opposite. We're doing immersion using technology and high-tech stuff. And so we're right in this fulcrum. And I like both worlds, to be honest. I like both of them.
The Cirque one is really exciting.
Yeah, you're a massive Cirque fan, aren't you?
Huge fan, yeah.
Oh, this is going to be very cool. I think it will be... I hope it will be what Disneyland was for amusement parks 50 years ago, 60 years ago. I'm hoping this may be for theme parks. It's a theme park that's really designed for this generation of social media and of it is the opposite of all that stuff. Other than we're going to encourage you to take pictures of everything and everywhere. I'm sure people will, because there's really nothing like this. I don't know if you're familiar with Queen of the Night in New York or Sleep No More or some of these immersive environmental live theater productions that are being done around the world now. Or there in England and London, you have the Ginger Line, the immersive dinner experiences, and you have Punch Drunk doing those immersive shows. So take all these immersive things that are going around in food and theater and stuff, and now say we're going to take all these kind of ideas and concepts, we're going to combine them with Cirque and create a new kind of theme park, and that's what we're doing.
Wow,
amazing!
I'm saving now. Yes.
It's going to be awesome.
It sounds it. Right, well, it's has anyone got any questions before we wrap up?
No, to be honest, my brain's still taking all of that in.
Yeah, right.
Well, we always finish up any interview asking one last question, Gary.
Very important.
Have you visited the Wizarding World of Harry Potter yet?
Yes. Oh, I was very impressed. I'm a little prejudiced on the ride because my analysis is, and I don't know if your viewers, your listeners agree, but I think Spider-Man is still a better overall ride, and I'll tell you why. I went on both. When I went to see the world, the Wizarding World is unbelievable. The theming, the wands, the things in it's fantastic, and the ride is great. Don't get me wrong. However, what I realized, I went on the ride. Oh, and the train ride is fantastic. The train ride that connects the parks. That's really well done. I mean, everything's well done. I mean, we're really just being a little nitpicky here, but what I thought didn't work in the big ride is I love the dome stuff, but And I went on it, and I go, I like it, but I didn't have the same dynamic to me. So I took the train over, went back on Spider-Man to have a direct comparison, then went back over to the Wizarding World again. And I know what it is. In Spider-Man, it never stops. Everything is very well integrated. We worked very hard to integrate the projections to the sets, and everything integrates together. And you go through it, and you go, whoa, and then before you can react, you're next. The idea of stop and starting, to me, kind of kills the energy of the ride, because you stop in front of a framed dome, basically, you know. So rather than integrating the projections, you're always you're in a set location with a foreground object or a foreground proscenium arch, if you will. And then this thing happens, and then it finishes, and then off you go again. And then you stop, and there you go. And then you stop, and then you go. And I think it was the stop and start that, to me, broke the illusion a little bit. And I think that Spider-Man is a superior overall experience because it doesn't break, it doesn't stop, it goes. So like the pacing of a film, the pacing is continuous, and the pacing in Harry Potter is stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. But having said that, I mean, I don't want to sound like Sarah Grapes here. I mean, I still thought it was a fantastic ride. It was really well done. The land is incredible. I mean, I rarely write letters, but I wrote a letter to Mark, who's the head of the whole thing over there. I said, that is it, man. You guys outdid yourselves. It's incredible. So I say congratulations to everyone on that. I thought it was really well done from top to bottom.
Awesome. Well, the question we like to ask is, Gary, which is your favourite type of butterbeer?
It's very
You've
important,
got
this one.
Regular, frozen, hot, or ice cream, and it's very important. The listeners will want to know.
I kind of like the hot one, but I think it was a cold day, so I'm not sure that I would like the hot one. If it was a hot day, I probably would have liked the cold one, but I've only had the hot one, so I can't vouch for. Well, wait, I had a sip of the frozen one. I just remembered.
Okay,
the frozen one was very good. It was very good. I might opt for the frozen one.
That's probably the hot one's better. No, the frozen choice. The frozen's definitely
the correct answer is
I need
regular.
these 10 points, Darren.
Do you see?
There's a wager going on?
Because there's four of us.
Kind of a great butterbeer debate that we do. We've got everybody chiming in, and then ultimately one day we'll finally put out the final tally.
Yeah.
But I think frozen's on top.
No, regular. That's my team, I will see you in October, and I will prove it to you. You see what you've done now, Gary?
You might have to split my vote 50-50. As a coffee drinker, who I did like the hot one. I did. But the sip of the frozen one was good too. So I think maybe you have to split my vote.
Awesome.
I have to say, I'm actually team pumpkin juice.
Yes.
But there you go.
You have to be contrary, don't you?
I do. It's my job.
Well, Gary, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
It really has.
Oh, well, my pleasure too. It was great. So let's do it again. We'll do a T2 3D next time.
Definitely.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
I think Spider-Man's one definitely want to go down as well.
Spider-Man, there's tales to tell.
Oh.
That's the show that's the ride that almost never happened.
Oh, I'm excited about that.
So comic book Sally says, so tune in next time.
Yes. Brilliant.
I'll look forward to that.
Awesome. Thanks, Gary.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Take care. And you.
Well, that's going to do it for episode 154. That was awesome.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. That Daredevil attraction sounds amazing.
I'm not going to sleep for a week going over that.
The stuff that potentially we could, he's already talked there, T2 3D and Spider-Man, and then, like he said, with the Silver Surfer coaster.
The DC concept.
Yeah.
I was looking at that, at all the DC concept art, and wow.
Yeah, if anything ever happens to the Marvel deal, that might be what we see.
I hope so.
Do you know what? I would love to see that stuff.
I would much rather
park.
take the DC stuff now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just
Sorry,
fantastic.
Marvel.
I hope you've all enjoyed this as much as we did. I will.
If not, it was worth it for the four of us.
I'll pull the curtain back as well. It took us 20 minutes of technical difficulty to actually end up getting Gary on the phone. I didn't think it was going to happen at one point.
Oh, it was so worth it.
But yes, plenty more to come as well, which is brilliant. So right, again, that's the end of the show. So I'm going to get out the usual bumps. So don't forget, if you want to come to the UK meet in September at the National Emergency Services Museum. Go back and listen to the episode that was out a couple of weeks ago, and you can head over to uuophh2015.moonfruit.com to find out all about it and buy your exclusive t-shirts. There are t-shirts there.
Yes.
Darren is still looking for your best maniacal clown lass for his Halloween Horror Night competition. If you want some free Halloween Horror Night stuff, just send in a daft clown laugh and you might win. Again, we're still looking for your top 5 worst attractions at Universal Orlando Resort.
I always feel guilty about that.
It's funny, isn't it? I like it. You have to be different. Just email us your top 5 worst attractions to us at podcast@uuopodcast.com. That's it. We'll see you back here again next week. So for Gary Goddard, I'm going to say that, Tracy, Hunter, and Darren, I am Lee, and this has been the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast.
Well, that wraps up another unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube. Just search the word UUO Podcast. We'd love to hear from you, so if you've seen something hilarious in the parks, let us know for our Funny Schmidt segment. And if you've had a great experience with a team member, we want to hear about that too. So to get in touch with us, email us at podcast@uuopodcast.com or record us a message at speakpipe.com/uuopodcast. Please subscribe to us on iTunes and rate and review the show. That would be amazing. Not an Apple user? No problem. You can find us on Stitcher, at uuopodcast.libsyn.com, as well as many other podcast apps. And don't forget to check out our sponsors, Fairy Godmother Travel, for all your Universal vacation needs. Head over to our partner site, micechat.com, for even more theme park news, and check out micepod.com. So until next time, be adventurous.
This has been a micepod.com presentation.
MiceChat.com